I did it. I finished Tome Topple and I met all of my goals, and I'm very excited by that. And this is my Tome Topple wrap-up. I had hoped to read 4 books, but I was going to be okay if I only read 3 of them, and I did only read 3 of them. And not the 3 that I expected. I changed out one of my books. I was going to read the Magic Knight Rayearth Omnibus Collection, and then I didn't because I read Another instead. I really enjoyed Another. I watched the anime series years ago, I guess. It's been a long time. The manga is really good. It's gory in the right spots. It's suspenseful. Horror manga is just a great thing. The story of Another is a boy transfers into a school, into the specific classroom that has a curse on it, where there's an extra person in that classroom, and because of that extra person, if they acknowledge that extra person, they don't know who it is, but if they acknowledge that extra person, students in the class start to die. Well, teachers can die too, but like people in that classroom start dying like one by one until the whole classroom is dead, I guess. It doesn't really make it clear how the end game of this curse is, but I watched the anime of this a few years back. I loved it. I read the manga of it. I loved it too. The artwork is beautiful in it. It's terrifying. I love manga where people go crazy, because if I can find it, when they go crazy, they go absolutely crazy. And I can't see if my camera is focusing on this, but like it's so well drawn, the craziness of it. I really liked Another. It's one of my favorite manga, I think, from now on. This one completed the challenge of read a graphic novel of more than 500 pages. This one was 722, I do believe. The second tome that I finished for Tome Topple was Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. This one was my buddy read. Even though we never actually discussed it very much, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about in this book. It was mostly just a big book of fluff, which is cute. Rainbow Rowell, this is the second book of Rainbow Rowell's that I've actually read. I read Landlines, and I had the same feeling about it, like it's just a big book of fluffy story, which, you know, is alright. I thought the romance in it was very cute. Baz was very angsty, and I really liked his little thing with Simon. He was very angsty, romancy, and I did enjoy it. The magic in this was weird and interesting. It was pretty great. Well, I don't want to say pretty great. It wasn't pretty great. It was... I want to say that it was like super alright. You know, like it wasn't quite great, but it was better than alright. Like it was like super alright. Do you know what I mean? Maybe? Hopefully? It was super alright. I don't regret reading it. And the thing that I am the most proud that I managed to read during Tome Topple is this giant behemoth. And I read Patrick Rothfuss's The Wise Man's Fear. I read The Name of the Wind, God, ages ago when it first came out. I think just as soon as it started being published in paperback, or like a softcover version of it, I picked it up. This is the sequel. It follows Quoth as he continues to tell the story of his life and his antics as a child. Child? Yeah, child, basically. Throughout the university, and it finally goes on to things beyond the university. But I found like the stuff that happens after the university, I kind of didn't like it as much. I thought I really wanted him to go beyond that point in the story, and then he did. And then I'm like, no, actually go back. I want you to go back to the university. I really liked it. The story is slow moving. It's 1,000 goddamn pages. Sometimes it feels like he can go on and on about the same thing for a long time. And other times it feels like chapters are just flying by. Like there's hundreds of chapters in this book. I don't regret that I read it, but I will probably never pick this up and read it again. I do really want to get the 3rd book in the series whenever he finally writes that thing, because it's been years. But, I mean, I can wait. I'm not one of those people that are chomping at the bit for the 3rd book. I feel like this book here, the second one, was mostly just like stuff leading up to the 3rd book, and I really hope the 3rd one is like full of action-packed adventures and stuff like this. Like, I feel like this one was super anticlimactic. Like, there was a couple different... It almost felt like it was a bunch of different short stories that were slammed together into one story. I mean, I guess it kind of is if you think about it, but I enjoyed it, and I honestly don't think that if I was reading it during Tome Topple, I would have finished this beast. I would have put it down like I did the last few times and just never pick it up again, but I had to finish it for Tome Topple, so I did it. And maybe whenever the third book gets written, I'll just wait for the next Tome Topple that happens and I'll just finish it during that one. Who knows? So all in all, throughout my Tome Topple, I read 2,237 pages across my 3 books. I did technically read about 100 pages of The Lies of Locke Lamora, but I had to put that one down because it was giving me too many vibes of The Wise Man's Fear, and it was just not as good as The Wise Man's Fear. So I just kind of like, some other time, put it down. Maybe during my next Tome Topple I'll pick that one up, whenever the next one happens to be. For this one, it wasn't jiving right with the other books that I was reading, so I just had to put it down. I also was just kind of not feeling it, but as I said, I read 2,236 pages. Wow. So as I was saying, I read 2,237 pages, which is an average of 160 pages a day for the 14 days, which, I mean, also while holding down a full-time job, that was pretty impressive of me. I spent a lot of my weekends just sitting there reading, though, to try and catch up. Yeah, I had to get rid of The Lies of Locke Lamora, too, because it was also putting me so far behind. Next time I know that I'm only going to read one adult book, and the rest YA or manga or something, but only one adult book with tiny font, because this nearly killed me. So yeah, that is it. This is my Tome Topple. This is what I read. This is what I finished. It's heavy, so I feel accomplished. And I honestly don't know what I'm going to do with my life, because for the last 2 weeks, it has been this. Like, this has been my main focus of my life for 2 weeks. Well, I mean that in my job. But like, when I wasn't at my job, I was reading. Like, that was what I did. But now I'm free to do other stuff, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I just bought a new Harvest Moon game, so that's what I'm gonna do after I finish editing this video and uploading it. And honestly, yeah, I'm just gonna leave now on that thought, and I'm gonna go play some Harvest Moon, and I'll see you guys in my next video, and hopefully with the next Tome Topple. Yeah, that's it. Bye!